Derek laughed, a harsh sound. You're just the janitor. Leave the big decisions to me. But what if the quietest person in the room was actually the one holding the most power? What happens when the overlooked rises to challenge the ruthless? Stay with me. This story will change everything you thought you knew about loyalty, power, and truth. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. I'm excited to share this thrilling story with you today, packed with secrets, suspense, and an unforgettable twist. Let's dive right in. Olivia moved quietly through the empty halls of Crestwood Enterprises, her mop gliding over the shiny floors with practiced ease. The lights were dim, and the only sounds were the faint hum of the air conditioner and the soft squeak of her shoes on the polished tiles. No one noticed her. She was just the janitor, the invisible helper who made sure the place stayed clean while everyone else went home. But Olivia was more than a janitor. No one at Crestwood knew her story. They didn't know about her sharp mind or her college degree in business management, earned years before she took this job to support her family. No one guessed she spent her nights not resting but working in a different way, watching, listening, learning. At her small, tidy apartment not far from the office, Olivia kept a secret. Behind a locked drawer was a small screen connected to cameras hidden all over Crestwood's building. She could see every corner, every office, every quiet hallway where secrets were whispered. But the cameras were just part of it. Olivia also had access to confidential files, emails, reports, financial statements, things no one expected her to see. She studied them with care, reading every line, understanding every number. Her sharp eyes caught details others missed. Tonight was no different. After finishing her rounds, Olivia sat at her kitchen table, the screen glowing softly in the dark. She scrolled through the latest reports, her heart sinking as she read the numbers. Derek, the company's CEO, was making choices that didn't make sense. He was spending money on expensive trips and strange new projects that didn't help the business. Money that should have been used to improve the company was disappearing into thin air. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of what she was seeing. She knew the employees trusted the company. They believed in the future Derek promised. But Olivia saw the truth. The company was falling apart, and no one seemed to notice. Sometimes, when she caught herself alone in the empty hallways, Olivia would imagine what it would be like to stand in the boardroom, to have a voice that could stop the damage. She remembered her classes in college, where she learned about leadership, strategy, and responsibility. Those lessons felt far away now, buried beneath the daily grind of cleaning floors and emptying trash cans. But inside, her mind was sharper than ever. Last week, during a rare moment of courage, Olivia had tried to talk to Derek. He was walking briskly through the hallway, his expensive shoes clicking on the marble floor. She called out softly, "Mr. Derek, can I speak with you for a moment?" He glanced at her briefly, a half-smile on his face. "What is it, Olivia?" "I'm a bit busy. I noticed some of the recent expenses don't seem to match the company's goals," she said carefully. "Maybe there's a better way to use the funds." Derek laughed, a harsh sound. "You're just the janitor. Leave the big decisions to me." That moment stayed with Olivia. She understood then how far behind the scenes she really was, but it also made her more determined. She wasn't just cleaning floors. She was carrying the future of Crestwood on her shoulders, even if no one else saw it. Her eyes, trained to notice the smallest details, from a misplaced paperclip to a hidden note in a report, now searched through the documents late into the night. The more she learned, the heavier the truth felt. Her hands shake when she sees the truth. Derek is ruining everything. Olivia was careful to keep her secret life hidden from everyone at Crestwood. But she wasn't alone in her mission. There was one person who believed in her completely, Sir Isaac. He was a tall, quiet man with silver hair and a calm, steady gaze that seemed to see through the surface of everything. Sir Isaac had been part of Crestwood Enterprises since before Olivia's grandfather had founded it. He knew the history of the company better than anyone and had watched it change over the years. They rarely spoke in public. Their conversations happened in the quietest corners of the building, during moments when no one else was around. Sir Isaac would slide a thick envelope into Olivia's hand or whisper a few words as they passed each other by the water cooler. To most people, it looked like nothing. But to Olivia, it was lifeline after lifeline. "I trust you," Sir Isaac had said once, his voice low but firm. "You understand this company like no one else. You have the knowledge and the eyes to see what others miss. Don't forget what you learned in school. Use it." Olivia's mind flashed back to her college days. She had earned a degree in business management, something that set her apart from most in the janitorial staff. Her professors often praised her sharp eye for detail and her ability to analyze complex situations. But life had pulled her in a different direction, forcing her to take this job to make ends meet. Still, her mind never stopped working. Then there was Nathan, Sir Isaac's son. Nathan was younger, full of energy and intelligence, with a talent for technology that far surpassed most people at Crestwood. As the company's chief IT officer, he controlled the network, the servers, and most importantly, the security systems. Nathan was the reason Olivia could see everything from her little apartment. The secret CCTV feeds hidden in every hallway, every office, every meeting room. He made sure the system was secure, encrypted, and invisible to anyone who might want to discover it. One evening, Olivia met Nathan in the IT office, a small, cluttered room filled with blinking machines and tangled wires. He looked up from his computer screen, his eyes sharp and confident. "You're doing what needs to be done," Nathan said quietly. "Derek's been careless for too long. It's hurting the company and the people who work here. We can't let that continue." Olivia nodded. "I just don't know if I'm ready to face him yet. He thinks I'm nothing more than a janitor. How do I stand up to someone like that?" Nathan smiled slightly. "You're smarter than you think. And you have more allies than you realize." Sir Isaac had also told Olivia that the board was divided. Some members were too scared to challenge Derek, while others were quietly watching, waiting for the right moment to act. Olivia was the key to that moment. She was the one person who could unite them, who could show the truth and demand change. At home, Olivia often sat in front of her small mirror, practicing the words she would say when the time came. She straightened her simple blouse, looked into her own eyes, and tried to steady the tremble in her voice. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. "You've studied, you've waited, you know what's right." Her heart beat faster each time she imagined standing up to Derek, calm, strong, and unafraid. For the first time in years, Olivia felt a warm rush of hope. She wasn't alone anymore. She had a secret team behind her, and together, they might just save Crestwood. She practices her courage in front of the mirror, her heart pounding every time she thinks about standing up to Derek. Derek's confidence was starting to crack. He paced in his spacious office, frowning at his computer screen. Files he expected to be untouched were missing. Important emails he thought private seemed to be leaked in meetings he hadn't even known about. His usual smirk had vanished, replaced by a tightening jaw and a flicker of paranoia. One afternoon, he called his assistant over and muttered, "Who's watching me? I don't like this. Someone's been digging where they shouldn't." Behind his back, he sneered at Olivia during their brief encounters. "Just a janitor," he'd say to his inner circle, shaking his head. What could she possibly know? But Olivia's quiet anger grew stronger each day. She carried herself with the calm of someone who knew what was coming, who had spent years preparing for this moment. The boardroom was where the real power was, and Olivia watched from her hidden screens, seeing the tension ripple through the company's leaders. The board of directors met often now, but their voices were low, cautious. Some disagreed with Derek's reckless spending on lavish trips and projects that didn't help the company's future. Others stayed silent, afraid of his wrath. Olivia could almost feel the conflict behind the closed doors as she watched through her secret cameras. One night, after the office was empty, Olivia sat at her kitchen table under the soft glow of her desk lamp. She opened another file, her eyes scanning every line carefully. Her academic training in business management helped her piece together the puzzle. Expenses labeled as investments were actually luxury vacations, and funds meant for upgrades were disappearing without explanation. Her heart pounded as she found a report detailing transfers to Derek's personal accounts. It was the evidence she needed. She reached for her phone and called Sir Isaac. His calm voice answered on the first ring. "I found the proof," Olivia said quietly but firmly. "Derek is stealing from the company." There was a pause before Sir Isaac replied. "You've done well, Olivia. This changes everything. We must move carefully." Next, she called Nathan. He answered with the same seriousness. "We've backed you all along," Nathan said. "This is the moment. But be careful. Derek won't go down without a fight." That night, Olivia sat back and looked at the papers spread before her. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility. Her mind raced, recalling everything she had learned in school about leadership, justice, and the courage to stand up when it matters most. She thought about the workers who trusted the company, about the future of Crestwood, and about the secret team that believed in her. Her hands shake, but her voice is steady. "I'm ready." The morning light filtered through the tall windows of the Crestwood boardroom, casting long shadows across the polished table. Olivia stood at the front, her hands folded calmly before her. The board members filed in, their faces a mix of curiosity and unease. Derek arrived last, his usual confident grin replaced by a mocking smirk as he looked at Olivia. "A special meeting." "What's this? A joke?" he said, folding his arms. "You're just the janitor, Olivia. This better be good." Olivia met his gaze without flinching. "It's no joke, Derek. Today, I'm not the janitor you think I am." The room fell silent. All eyes turned to her, some skeptical, others confused. Olivia took a slow breath and began. "I am the rightful owner of Crestwood Enterprises. I am the granddaughter of the company's founder." Gasps rippled around the table. Derek's face shifted from amusement to shock. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, but no words came. "I know this sounds unbelievable," Olivia continued, "but it's true. For years, I've watched over this company, not as a bystander, but as its protector. The CCTV feeds, the confidential documents, the careful study of every decision. This was all to safeguard my family's legacy." Derek's face went pale, then flushed with anger. "You're lying. You're just a thief trying to steal what you don't deserve." Before the room could erupt, Sir Isaac stood slowly, his voice steady and calm. "The truth is in these documents." He placed a thick folder on the table, opening it to reveal contracts, wills, and legal papers tying Olivia directly to the company's ownership. Nathan stepped forward and tapped on his laptop. The screen behind Olivia flickered on, displaying files showing Derek's misuse of funds, secret transfers, and misleading reports. The evidence was clear and undeniable. Derek slammed his fist on the table. "This changes nothing. You think you can just take over? I've built this company." Olivia raised a hand, stopping him. "This isn't about anger or revenge. In fact, Derek and I have worked together behind the scenes. You see, this was never just my fight alone." Heads turned toward her in disbelief. Derek nodded slowly. "It's true. I've been part of a plan, one that Olivia and I agreed on months ago. We needed to find out who inside Crestwood could be trusted, who was loyal to the company's future, and who was after power for themselves." The board members exchanged shocked glances. Some leaned forward, trying to catch every word. Olivia's voice was steady, but her eyes shone with intensity. "The secret cameras, the documents I accessed, they helped us test the loyalty of everyone here. It was a risk, but it was necessary." Sir Isaac added, "This company has been weakened by greed and fear. Only by revealing the truth could we begin to rebuild." Derek looked around the room, no longer the arrogant CEO, but a man humbled by the moment. We wanted to protect Crestwood from the inside out. It was the only way. The board members sat back, their minds racing. Trust, betrayal, loyalty, all tangled in ways they hadn't expected. The board members gasped, shocked and confused. The morning after the boardroom revelation, the atmosphere at Crestwood felt different, lighter, yet charged with new energy. The sunlight poured through the windows of the boardroom, where Olivia now stood with quiet strength. Derek sat across from her, his face marked by defeat, but also a trace of respect. "I'm giving you a choice," Olivia said, her voice steady but kind. "Step down peacefully and help us rebuild Crestwood together, or leave and never return. The company needs healing, and it needs honesty." Derek looked down for a moment, the fight fading from his eyes. After a long pause, he nodded. "I'll step down. This company means more than my pride. I want to help fix what I broke." A murmur of approval passed through the board members. Sir Isaac gave a small, approving nod from his seat. Nathan stood nearby, already planning how to tighten security to prevent future betrayals. With Derek's departure agreed upon, the board quickly united behind Olivia. She wasn't the quiet janitor anymore. She was their leader, the one who had fought from the shadows and won. The weight of years of secrecy lifted as she stepped into the light, confident and ready. Back in her office, Olivia felt the burden slowly ease from her shoulders. Nathan stopped by often, updating her on new security systems he was installing: encrypted cameras, better firewalls, and stricter access controls. "No more secrets," he joked, "except the ones we want to keep." Sir Isaac remained a steady presence, offering guidance but letting Olivia make the decisions. His quiet pride was clear every time their eyes met. The employees noticed the change too. In the hallways and break rooms, whispers turned into cheers. People smiled more, worked harder, and began to believe again in the future of Crestwood. Olivia walked the floors not as a janitor now, but as the heart and soul of the company. One afternoon, she stopped in a busy hallway where a group of workers were talking. One young woman looked up and said, "We always believed someone was watching out for us. Now we know it was you." Olivia smiled, feeling the warmth she hadn't felt in years. "I never stopped believing in this place," she replied softly. Later, as the sun dipped low, Olivia stood by the large window in her new office. She looked out over the city, the buildings bathed in golden light. For the first time, the future felt clear, full of possibility and hope. Her eyes shone with a new light, born from courage, truth, and the secrets finally brought into the open. Crestwood was safe again, and so was the promise of what it could become. She is a woman who rose from the shadows to lead, and a company ready to start fresh. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe for more gripping tales, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment below. What would you do if you were in Olivia's shoes? I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time.